All righty. I would like to ask if you guys have your mics on to please mute them. If you have a question, you can always type it in the chat and ask at any time. Okay. So this is the TNLOA training course for 117 over crease play, goal, and no goal mechanics. What's going to be covered in this training will be mechanics for crease play, both 2 and 3 man. What we're looking at, where our positioning, best case scenario and worst case scenarios, crease play violations that are the most common that we'll run into during the course of a game, restarts following crease play, goalie privileges, and goal and no goal, what both of them look like. So first things first, the goalie, probably one of the craziest guys on a lacrosse field, taking shots anywhere from 80 to 100 miles an hour, not wearing elbow pads, not wearing shoulder pads, wearing a chest protector that really barely only covers him. But the goalie and his goal and the crease, the circle around the goal, are kind of the most dangerous areas on the field. Because remember, lacrosse is a game of whoever scores the most wins. Because of that reason, the area around a goal is always highly contested. And we want to make sure that we have our vernacular correct and how we speak about any type of crease play. The goalie himself as a player has privileges that other players do not. The offense around the crease has certain privileges that they have and certain privileges that they do not have. So it all depends on the team that's in possession of the ball, if the ball is loose, and if the goalie is inside or outside of his crease. But because this is such a highly contested part of the game, our way we look at it has to be very, very consistent statewide. If we look at the goalie, the goal, and the crease very consistently, we're not going to have problems when we have teams from different locations of the state travel to, like Memphis traveling to Nashville, Nashville traveling to Knoxville. We're not going to have these situations where people say, well, this is not how what they call it in one part of the state. We want to make sure that consistency is key around the crease. Things to remember about a goalie. There must be a legally equipped goalie on the field at all times. A game cannot start if there is not a legally equipped goalie, period. It doesn't matter if they say, well, he's going to be here in 5 minutes. He hit traffic. No, game's still not starting without him. We're not going to put another player on the field to replace him. This isn't like hockey where you can substitute a goalie out for another defender or another offensive man. You can't do that. There must be a legally equipped goalie on the field at all times. If at any time a goalie's equipment breaks or becomes dislodged during play, play must be stopped immediately unless there is a shot in flight. And I know it's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of officials where in the middle of the game, middle of a possession of one team, the goalie will start yelling, my stick's broken, my stick's broken. If a goalie's stick is broken, he is no longer a legally equipped goalie. Play must be stopped. The only reason you will not stop it is if there's a ball in flight. Imminent scoring opportunity does not matter because it's goalie safety that we're now thinking about. And one of the biggest things is certain rules only apply to the goalkeeper. As long as that goalkeeper is in his crease, there are certain rules that only apply to him. The crease itself is a 9-foot radius circle around the center point of the goal line. So if we drew a dot right there in the middle of the entire crease, it would be a 9-foot radius circle. So if anyone ever wants to know, hey, is this crease correct? Go stand on the goal line and toe to toe 9 paces out. If it's close, yeah, we're fine. 9-foot radius, 18-foot diameter circle is the crease area. The crease can be between 2 and 4 inches wide and can really be any color. I know I was contacted by 2 different teams this week asking, can we use like orange or green? Yeah, I mean, it's whatever they want. It doesn't matter. It's something that we'll look at in our pregame. But as for the goal and the goal construction, you'll see a lot of teams, especially younger teams, who will have those collapsible goals. They collapse down to a small triangle. Those can be used, but be aware that a good shot or someone, jumping into the crease illegally and hits that goal, the whole goal might collapse. So it's the best kind of goal that we can see on the field is when it's flat iron, meaning the bottom part of the goal touching the ground is flat instead of rounded. It has less chance of moving. A properly equipped goalkeeper, Rule 1-9, the goalkeeper must have a lacrosse chest protector that meets the NOCSI SEI ND 200 standard. Now, this is something that we're going to have to talk with the head coaches about before the game starts. I know last year I was talking to coaches and said, hey, the goalkeeper's equipment changes this next year. And every single one of them said, yeah, I know, or my goalie already has it, or he's ordered it. This is something that we're going to have to look for. He must have a lacrosse throat guard. So basically an extended piece of plastic that hangs below the chin of the helmet, a goalie stick, goalie cross, and he is not required to have elbow pads or shoulder pads, not should pads, shoulder pads. Now at the youth level though, it is recommended that at the youth level, they wear elbow pads. They are not required to though. That's at the middle school level. If we go below the middle school level, they need to have elbow pads on. A properly equipped goalkeeper. The goalie cross, the head must be between 10 to 12 inches at the widest point, may have a shaft and head length combined of between 40 and 72 inches, and may have a pocket that is deeper than the bottom of the sidewall. Unlike field players, where pocket depth is measured, where if we see the top of the ball and we measure a stick, and if we see the top of the ball below the sidewall of a lacrosse stick, that stick is illegal. That has a deep pocket. Lacrosse goalie sticks are not like that. And they may have tape on the throat of the head, unlike face-off players who cannot have tape on the throat of their head. The other big thing is the donut is allowed on a goalie stick. The tape donut is allowed. On a normal field player, they cannot have a tape donut, basically a multiple wraps of tape. If a field player has multiple wraps of tape on their stick, it's fine, but it has to be within 3 inches of the bottom of the stick. A goalkeeper can put it anywhere. It's perfectly fine. There must be one of these crosses on the field at all times. There must be a legally equipped goalkeeper with one of these crosses on the field at all times. And if he breaks any part of this stick, he is not a legally equipped goalkeeper. We have to kill the play. We have to kill it immediately because now it's a safety issue. A goalie may not wear indoor lacrosse equipment. There's an example of an indoor lacrosse goalie. He is not allowed to wear any of this equipment. He is not allowed to wear hockey equipment, but a lacrosse goalie can wear football pads with the leg pads added inside them. They can wear soccer shin guards, and they can wear elbow pads. If a goalie does not wear a cup, he is crazy. He should be wearing a cup. It's not something we're going to check for, but he's not allowed to wear additional equipment from other sports unless it's football pads or soccer shin guards. Now, that's the leg protection. They're still not allowed to wear football shoulder pads. They cannot wear a football helmet, but they can wear the pads on the pants and soccer shin guards. Now, a goalie in the crease. If any part of the goalie is within the crease, he is considered to be in his crease. The one thing with this picture is you can see the goalie's front foot is outside of the crease. His back foot is also lifted, so he is no longer in the crease. If his back foot toe was touching the crease or the crease line, inside the crease or the line, he would be considered to be in the crease. He is only out of the crease. He is only out of the crease until he is out of the crease. It made sense in my head when I was writing that. But Once the goalie leaves his crease area, he is a normal field player. He does not get his privileges while he is within his goal area. Only one goalkeeper. I have called this one time, and but this is a great rule that everyone should know. No defensive player other than a properly equipped goalkeeper can enter his own crease with the perceived intent on blocking a shot or acting as a goalkeeper. If a defensive guy enters the crease and blocks a shot, it is a conduct foul on the defensive player. Conduct foul. If he does it a second time, that will be a 1 minute releasable unsportsmanlike conduct foul. Releasable unsportsmanlike conduct. Biggest thing is if we see a defensive guy in the crease acting as a goalie, we need to stop play. Stop play. Now, the big thing with that, if there's an imminent scoring opportunity, we have to let it go, no matter if he is in the crease or not. If the defensive guy is in the crease acting as a goalkeeper, biggest thing where this happens is we have a goalie that runs. We have a goalie that runs outside of his crease to like chase a ball. And so when the goalie leaves his crease to chase the ball, all of a sudden it's or he leaves on a deep, like a defensive clearing, and one of his defenders loses the possession of the ball. Offensive guy picks it up. Defensive guy runs and gets in the crease to act as the goalie. If he does that, let the scoring opportunity continue. Throw the flag for the conduct foul, and then we'll go from there. So we're going to stop play immediately when this occurs, unless the shot's in flight, the imminent scoring opportunity, and we got to let the play come to its normal conclusion. So if there's a shot, we're going to throw the flag. If it goes off the pipe, we're going to let that ball continue to roll until it stops or it's picked up. We're going to let the play come to its normal conclusion. Again, I've only had this one time, and I had it at the middle school level where the defensive guy, he probably had only had a stick in his hand for 2 weeks. He was trying to protect his goalie. The other thing, the other thing with this, if a defensive player is outside of the crease, meaning he is outside of the circle around the goal, and he is acting as a goalkeeper and blocking shots, that's not the same thing. He has to be within his 18-foot diameter crease where his goalie usually is. If he is outside of it and he blocks a shot, that's up to him. But if he is inside the crease and blocks a shot, then we have a conduct foul. And then the second violation will be a 1 minute releasable USC. And I'll get that chat question in a second. The other thing is the first conduct foul, that is a personal, that's an individual foul. It's on that person. The second time it happens, though, it doesn't matter who it is. If it's any other defensive player, immediately becomes a 1 minute releasable USC. We're not going to give another defensive player the same conduct foul. We immediately step it up. It's now it's a team foul at that point. So anyone on the team can be called for that. The first time, it's an individual player. The second time after that, it is a team violation. Let me get this chat question real quick. Gene, shot in flight or imminent scoring opportunity. So shot in flight, if the shot if the ball is not possessed and the shot is on its way. Imminent scoring opportunity. Let me get back up to this slide. Imminent scoring opportunity, what I always think of imminent scoring opportunity is if he is above goal line extended and running towards the goal within 6 or 7 yards. I would call that an imminent scoring opportunity. Now, if he has to pass the ball to start an imminent scoring opportunity, that's not an imminent scoring opportunity. That's not the way this works. Like he's in a one-on-one scenario with the goalie, that's imminent. He has to be above goal line extended for that opportunity to be considered that way. One-on-one with the goalie. But if there's a defensive man in front of him, kill it dead, blow it dead, throw the penalty and throw the flag and blow it dead. The coach might get super, super angry, but it's now a player safety issue. If we have a defensive player who's not a goalkeeper, he does not have a chest protector like a goalie, he does not have a throat protector, I guarantee he's either probably not wearing a cup or he's not wearing a cup designed for a goalie. The last thing we need as officials is a player to get hit who's not properly equipped. He goes down, he's injured because we didn't protect the player on the field. So unless he's about to shoot the ball, he goes into the crease acting like a goalkeeper, throw the flag and kill it unless that shot is already in flight or he's in a one-on-one situation. Kill it. Immediately kill it. Okay. Goalie penalties. This is a sore subject for a lot of people, sore subject. A goalkeeper who commits a flag down foul shall serve his penalty. At the high school level, if a goalie slashes, illegally body checks, has an unnecessary roughness penalty, he has to serve his penalty no matter what. It doesn't matter if they only have one goalie. He must serve his penalty. At the youth level, middle school and below, we might be able to fluff it a little bit. Now, and I'll get to that in a second. But at the high school level, this goalie must serve his penalty. A replacement goalie, he could literally take all of his equipment off, give it to someone else, and that person will act as the goalie. Once that person to replace the goalie who's serving the penalty runs onto the field and is in the goal, you're going to give him a 1-minute warm-up period. The coach can ask for more time, but if he's going to want more time, he needs to take a timeout in order to do so. We're only supposed to give him 1 minute to warm up the goalie. Youth lacrosse may only have one goalie, or we can rule where the in-home can serve it. So that all depends on the middle school associations, what they decide on this thing. Now, even at the middle school level, if the goalie slashes a guy to the face and we deem it this was an egregious act, no matter what, we can still tell that goalie he has to serve his penalty. Just because he's given certain privileges within his crease doesn't mean he has privileges to commit personal fouls within his crease or outside of it. It doesn't matter. He is still a lacrosse player. He has the ability to injure other players and commit personal fouls and technical fouls. He needs to serve his penalty time. This is another one. I've had it once or twice, but it's a good thing to know. A ball that's stuck in the mud inside of the crease. If the ball becomes mired in the mud within the goal crease area or ensnared in the goal netting or the goalie equipment, time shall be suspended by the officials and the ball awarded to the defensive team. So this can happen with snow. This can happen with mud. If the ball gets stuck, like the guy shoots the ball and all of a sudden the ball just stops. Kill it, let the goalie pick it up, and then restart play. If the ball gets thrown and gets stuck in the goalie's equipment, don't give him the opportunity to reach in and grab the ball out with his hand. Because remember, goalies are not allowed to grab the ball with their hand. They're allowed to touch it with their hands, but not allowed to grab it. Kill it before he does. Kill it, give him the ball, and restart it. Ensnared in the netting usually happens when a guy's shooting and it goes outside of the goal, goes along the side, and just gets stuck in the very back of the net. If it gets stuck, just kill it. There's no harm, no foul in this. Kill it, let him pick up the ball, let him put it in a stick, and we'll restart play while he's in the crease. If the ball is outside the crease and it gets stuck in mud, stuck in snow, we're going to award the ball via alternate possession. A lot of times this will happen with like fields that are not very kept or not kept well, and there's puddles on the field and it just rained. If the ball goes into this puddle and the guys can't get it out, just kill the play and award it via alternate possession, via AP. Okay, this is why I was talking about a goalie grabbing the ball out of his equipment. The use of hands or illegal touching. The goalkeeper may use his hand to block or bat the ball while in the goal crease area. He may not grab or catch the ball. When he's outside of the crease, it is considered illegal touching. His privilege of touching the ball with his hand only occurs while he is in his goal crease area. If he touches the ball with his hand outside of his crease, illegal touching has occurred. It's a legal procedure for illegal touching, and it's a turnover. Now, I'm going to do this in case you guys don't know. Illegal touching, the signal for illegal touching is this. So if it occurs, this is illegal touching. So it's an illegal procedure, illegal touching, and award it the other direction. So illegal touching. Goalie possession in the goal crease area. So I kind of have these two examples. So the goal crease area, if the goalie is in his crease, imagine that crease as a gigantic cylinder going up. If the goalie's within it, an offensive guy is not allowed to touch him when he's in his goal crease area. Now, let's say, here's a scenario. Let's say the goalie jumps. He was in his crease. He jumps out of his crease or into the air over his crease. Can an offensive guy check him when he's airborne, when he jumps from his goal crease area? That's my question. Who'd like to answer that one?
I missed the question.
If a goalie is within his crease and he jumps and an offensive guy stick checks him, is that legal or illegal?
Illegal. He was where he last was.
That's right. It is illegal. In lacrosse, you are where you last were. An airborne player, and I have a slide that will cover that. An airborne player, if the goalie jumps up in the air and he was in his crease first, he cannot be touched by an offensive player. Even if he jumps from inside the crease to outside the crease while in the air, he cannot be touched because he was in the crease last. So you have to imagine the crease is a gigantic cylinder that goes up. It's a cylinder of protection for that goalie. Okay, passing from the crease, and I'm going to bring up a scenario that we talked about a couple weeks ago. The goalkeeper, while clearing from the crease, so he has possession of the ball, has protection on legitimate passes for the clear. He has protection while he's passing the ball. With this being said, the goalie can be called for a slash if he's in the process of passing and just slashes a guy. He can be called for that. If the goalie is interfered with, the play shall continue under the play on rule until the pass is complete, or you award the ball via a free clear. So let's talk about that second one real quick. If a goalie is interfered with after he has possession of the ball and in the process of passing the ball, which he is protected during that time while he's in the process of passing, and he is interfered with, it is a play on until the pass is complete. So if he throws the ball and the ball's on the ground and rolling on the ground, the pass is not complete. So once one of his defensive player picks up that loose ball, the play on is now over. Now remember, us as officials, if we have a play on and the play on comes to a conclusion, we don't say play on over or play on off. We just say the color of the team that is possessing the ball. That's all we do. Play on. So this is a white goalie. Let's say blue interferes with him. I'm going to go play on. He passes the ball. Loose ball on the ground. His white defender picks up the ball. I'm going to put my hand down. I'm going to yell white. That's all we're going to do. We're not going to yell play on off or play on over. It's just color of the guy possessing the ball. If the ball is loose and a goalie interference occurs, the ball is awarded at the spot of the foul and is not a free clear. So this last one is a ball is loose within the crease and the goalie is interfered with, meaning he is stick checked while he is in the crease. That is an interference call, correct, but it is a loose ball interference. That means if the goalie picks up the ball, the interference is over with. That's it. You let the play continue. An interference for a free clear will only occur when he is passing the ball. I hope that makes sense. Now, the other thing is with this, and I searched the rule book for a while for this one. Once the goalie leaves his crease, let's say we have a goalie interference. We have a goalie interference, and we have a play on in this instance. If the goalie leaves his crease, the interference is now over. He's only given that interference while he was within his crease area. That does not happen that often, but it's something to remember. If we have a goalie interference occurring and we have a play on scenario, let's say the goalie is in the middle of passing and he does does a stick fake and the guy contacts and he holds onto the ball and now we have an interference call. Once he leaves his crease, that goalie interference is now over with. There's no more free clear. He left his crease. That's it. Now, the other thing, talking about this with clearing counts, remember, a goalie gets 4 seconds. When he possesses the ball within his crease, he gets 4 seconds to either leave his crease or pass the ball from his crease. With other clearing counts, if we have a technical foul violation during a 20-second clear, we will reset the clearing count. We will reset the count. A goalie count does not reset, period. We're not going to have 3 seconds down on a goalie count and all of a sudden we have an interference. We're not going to give him another 4 seconds to stay within his crease. His 4-second count still continues. The only thing that'll reset is that 20-second clearing count, not the 4-second goalie count. Not that. Okay, here's a great example, and I've played this before. This is a great example of a goalie slash. Now, this is a goalie who is, from my perspective, is not making an effort to have a legitimate pass. He's not legitimately trying to pass the ball. He's just trying to make contact with the guy. That's all he's doing. Goalie picks up the ball, guy runs in front of him, slash in the face. And whoever made this video put a weird sound effect whenever contact was made. Now, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about this possibly being a simultaneous foul. It's not. This is not a simultaneous foul. Yes, there's goalie interference, but the slash oversees that. This is just a slashing call. Because no matter what, if there's an argument for this being a simultaneous foul, the ball has left the goalie's stick before he does it. This is a slashing call. Straight to the guy's face. He is legitimately trying to make that contact with the guy's face. It is a slashing call on the goalie. Tell him to serve his penalty. If they don't have another goalie, tell him to get someone else on. Give him 1 minute to warm up once the replacement is on the field. Now,
that's also,
say it again.
An example of. I'm sorry, Foster. It's a great example of never turning your body away from the action because that official misses the foul because he turns his head upfield and misses the slash. That's
very correct. Because if you look at this official over here,
he counts and then he just turns his head.
Exactly.
And misses the whole slash.
So this is a mechanics thing. One thing that I know I always do, and I try to teach my junior officials to do, is even after the ball is passed, nothing's going to happen while that ball is in the air. Continue to watch the guy who passed the ball for like half a second or 1 second. Watch him, because that ball is going to be in the air for a little bit. Continue to watch the guy who passed the ball for a half a second or 1 second to see if anything happens to him after the fact. So we like Jim said, we don't want to turn our head too quickly. Let me go forward a little bit. So watch the official. He counts and just turns his head. Signals the reset, starts his count, and just turns his head. So we always have to make sure that we're watching the play. So I'm going to go 2 more slides, and I'm going to stop and leave it open for some discussion on scenario based. Loose ball in the crease. If we have a loose ball in the crease, this ball may be played by any player, offense or defense, period. A offensive guy outside the crease, as long as his feet are outside the crease, can reach in with his cross and play the ball. An offensive player may not initiate contact with the goalie in the crease. If the goalie is on top of the ball, if the goalie's trying to play the loose ball, he cannot make contact with the goalie at all. He can't. All that matters is who initiates the contact when a ball is loose inside the crease. Well, come on. My computer, I think, decided to freeze.
What about the goalie has the ball clamped in the crease?
So remember the rule about possession: passing, cradling, catching, or shooting. Having the ball clamped on inside the crease is not possession, but the goalie is allowed to clamp on top of the ball when he's inside the crease. He is allowed to, 100%. But if he has the ball trapped underneath his stick, he cannot be checked. The offensive guy still cannot touch him. He cannot do it. And I've seen plays, there's highlight reels from colleges where a goalie is clamped on top of the ball, and all of a sudden he rakes the ball, pops up in the air. Offensive guy reaches in, snags the ball out of midair, shoots and scores. That's legal. But as long as the goalie is clamped on top of the ball inside the crease, he cannot be stick checked. He cannot be. I am going to stop this share real quick because my computer decided to freeze for half a second. Okay, so before I move on to the next slide, actually I'm going to move on to the next slide, and then I'm going to stop for a second. Let me go back to screen sharing. I apologize. My computer updated last night and it's acting really funny. Okay, look at this picture. Who initiated the contact? From your perspective, see what the goalie's doing, see what the offensive guy is doing. Offensive guy is grounded outside the crease. Who makes the contact?
Red.
So you're saying red is making the contact?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What I see, and this is all scenario based. So let's say if red makes contact with the goalkeeper in this instance, that's goalie interference, loose ball goalie interference. Once the goalie picks up the ball, the interference is over with. What I see is the goalie is out of position, is trying to dive towards a loose ball, and he makes contact with red. If this occurs, this is not interference. If the goalie makes contact first, if the goalie makes contact onto the offensive player trying to play a loose ball in the crease, this is not interference. It must happen the other way. The offensive guy must initiate contact first for it to be interference. The goalie can't just initiate contact and have and get away with a loophole in the rules. That's not the way this works. It's all a matter of who initiates contact when there's a loose ball inside of the crease. So I want to stop it real quick, and for the next couple of minutes, what I want everyone to do is that everyone can kind of see each other, and so unmute your cameras and let's have a kind of an open conversation about scenarios that anyone has run into while in crease play. I think one of the biggest ones that I've run into is one that I already talked about. Goalie goes to scoop the ball, pops the ball in the air, offensive guy reaches in to grab the loose ball, and goalie makes contact with the offensive player. There's no interference there. That's one of my biggest scenarios. If the goalie is playing a loose ball in the air and he goes to make that contact, goalie initiates that contact, that's not goalie interference because the goalie is initiating the contact. Does anyone else have a scenario based around loose balls in the crease that they would like to share with everyone? Everyone's tight-lipped on the Sunday morning.
I'll start out.
Go ahead.
What I see a lot are coaches complain about is, okay, the goalie is gained possession of the ball inside the crease. You got a defender standing outside, and he's waving his stick around like this. The goalie throws the ball and then hits the defender's stick. The defender's just waving it around. They start screaming and hollering goalie interference.
Because the goalie made contact with the defensive guy?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why he'd want that, but no, he has to make contact with the other team. Yeah, no, you're spot on. I don't think that's happened to me, but I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, he has to make contact with the other team. He can't make contact with his own defensive
You unlocked the car.
That is a serious loophole in the rules if that was the case. No, I thank Scott for sharing that. Does anyone else have another thing they'd like to share?
As a goalie myself, I always follow through and try to hit the attackman who's riding me, get that call.
Yeah.
So yes, if there's an attacker in front of me waving a stick, I make my pass, I hit his stick. That's not goalie interference?
Oh, the offensive guy or the defensive guy?
The attackman's right is in front of me, waving his stick. I'm the goalie, I throw.
Yeah.
My stick hits him, goalie interference.
Correct. Yes, that is goalie interference. Now, I'll share a story with that. I had a middle school game where the goalie took full advantage of that rule and got about 5 goalie interference calls in a row. At the third one, I told the goalie, I was like, you're not making a legitimate pass. You have to be in the process of a legitimate pass for it to be called that. They can't, that's a loophole. If they're just attackman standing in front and they're just going contact and they just drop the ball on the ground, that's not a legitimate pass. Give it to him the first time, but then tell him you have to make a legitimate pass. Coach him out of continuing that play. The last thing we want to do is all of a sudden we have a time where the goalie does it and we say nothing and we didn't inform the coach or the goalie. So that's the time where we would have to off-ball officiate in this time and run up and tell the coach, hey, coach, I know your goalie's using that interference rule, but he needs to make a legitimate pass. If he's not doing it, I'm not going to give him that goalie interference. He's abusing the rule. No person on a field is allowed to abuse a rule to get a play in their favor. That's unsportsmanlike conduct. So that's where we need to talk to goalie. We need to talk to the coach. And again, that happens very seldomly. I will say that much. That is a very seldom thing where the goalie is overusing that interference call. That's very, very seldom. But when it does occur, talk to the goalie, talk to the coach, and let them know, hey, you have to make a legitimate pass. It has to be legitimate. Just making contact and dropping the ball on the ground, that doesn't work. That just means the goalie he's trying to use it's a loophole. So again, as officials, it's just like a player who gets pushed in the back and does the soccer flop. If he wants to play soccer, that field's 100 yards that direction. That's why we literally have a rule in the rule book that says if a guy flops, he is committing the foul. Conduct that guy and pick the ball up. Lacrosse is a contact sport. We're not going to let someone get away with a flop. Give it to him the first time, then warn him if he does it again. Yeah, there was a push, but you had the conduct foul going the other direction, order of occurrence. We don't want to have an abuse of the rules, especially from goalies and really good goalies who know their privileges. But that's, again, once in a blue moon occurrence when you have an overusage of that rule. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. But yeah, you're right. If he continues his follow through and makes contact, that is 100% goalie interference. Put your hand up, let the pass continue to its conclusion, and then go from there.
I know. I'm one of those goalies that takes advantage of that rule. So
yeah. Well, again, like, and that's not a problem. My thing is it happens so many times during a game. Now it's an abuse.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
As a goalie, I would 100% expect if there's an attackman jumping around in front of him, he better make contact and use that rule to his advantage. But there's the difference between advantage
way to back
and
that attackman
abuse.
up.
Say it again, John.
I say it's that easiest way to get that attackman to back up. You hit him 2 or 3 times, get a free clear.
Right.
They might think about changing it.
And a lot of times, and I know everyone's seen this, attackman will jump in front of the goal, and all of a sudden the guy starts to pass, and the attackman will jump out of the way real quick. Because now, if a goalie's good at it, he's going to try to get that rule in his favor. But if he jumps out of the way real quick and doesn't get that goalie interference, and the ball goes straight into the ground, now the goalie looks like the idiot, right? Everyone's had that instance. Does anyone else have anything else to share with any kind of crease play?
Hey, let me ask you a question about a defender playing in the goal.
Sure.
So conduct is a technical foul.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say errant shot bounces off the pipe of the goalie. The goalie goes out to play the ball. The defender slides in front of the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a flag down?
So you're saying the ball's loose outside the crease, goalie runs out to play the ball, defender is just going through the crease.
No,
he's not stopping.
He stands in front of the goal. He slides in there to act as a goalie. Now,
If a defender goes into the goal to act as a goalkeeper for the purpose of deliberately stopping a shot, that is a flag. Now, we've all seen defensive guys just run through the crease and get hit with a shot. He's not acting as a goalkeeper in that instance. But if he is stopping and all of a sudden you see him set up like a goalie, no, he is acting as a goalkeeper. Are we going to call it immediately? Maybe, maybe not, depending on what the situation is. If the offensive guy picks up the ball and he's about to shoot, and you see that guy set up as a goalie, throw the flag. That is a conduct foul. He cannot act as a goalie if the goalie is outside the crease. But if he's just sliding through and gets hit with a shot, he's not acting as a goalkeeper. I mean, most defenders, they'll turn their body, that kind of thing. But if he's acting as a goalkeeper, it's so scenario based. And I looked on YouTube for over an hour to try to find an example, and I couldn't find one. I apologize, where I couldn't give you an example of it.
In that instance,
yeah,
a loose ball technical foul becomes a flag down. Normally you would have a play on in a loose ball technical situation.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, we're throwing the flag immediately.
Well, if it's a loose ball, I would let it go to see what happens first. If a guy goes into the goal and he's sitting there in front of the goal and the ball's loose, you could do that conduct foul and just give it back to him and say you can't act as a goalkeeper. But that's a hard sell if he doesn't possess the ball, if the other team does not possess the ball, because we could say that, well, it's not an imminent scoring opportunity in this case, because we've all had times with where the goalie, a defender, another defender, they're all right there in front of the goal trying to play a loose ball. I'm not going to say that those guys are trying to play as a goalkeeper. I'm just saying they're trying to play a loose ball. I would wait for the ball to be picked up and see what happens after that instant. If he picks up the ball, throw the flag. If we can kill it, kill it. If we can't kill it because he shot the ball, we let it go. I think it's so scenario based, and it's like one of those things you have to experience to really see it. The only time I've had it, the goalie was 40 yards away from the goal. He drops the ball, other team picks it up, guy steps in, blatant defensive guy playing the goalie. That instance, it's such bang, bang, so quick. I think it's so scenario based, and you have to make that judgment call really, really quickly. Does that make sense, Alex? I'm having a hard time picturing it.
I'm just saying, the ball goes loose, goalie goes out to the alley to play this ball, and offside defender slides into the goal to act as a goal.
Yeah, throw the flag.
Is that an immediate flag?
Yeah, throw the flag. Throw the flag. If it's loose, if it's a loose ball under the technical foul rule because it's a conduct foul, I would throw the flag to add impetus, but we can always wave off that flag and just give them possession of it. So if we have a time, does that make sense? It's kind of like, as officials, we can throw a flag for a conduct foul and say, hey, it was a conduct foul, it was loose, we're waving it off, but we're going the other direction. It's to add that impetus to it because it's such a safety issue. But if there's a loose ball, goalie's outside the crease, defensive guy runs in, sets up as a goalkeeper, and the ball's still loose, throw the flag, kill it, wave off the flag, give it back to the team. But if he picks up the ball, and the guy's still in the goal acting as a goalkeeper, throw the flag. It's conduct foul.
Yeah, good luck
I think
selling that to
that's
the
that thing we
coach.
need to use. Go ahead,
Good
Jim.
luck selling that to the coach that that was on the offensive team. When he sees you throw a flag on that, he's going to go, "What do you mean? You got to call a foul. You got to have somebody serve the penalty. You know you're going to get that." Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Absolutely.
I hear you.
100%.
You're covering both bases, which is good.
Yeah. I mean, I think that scenario is so hit and miss. It's so scenario. It's such a sticky situation. But in that instance, I have no problem with a coach yelling at me because I was trying to protect a player.
I used to hear guys back in Illinois, they would tell the kid to get out of the crease before there was a flag down thing. They'd say, "Get the hell out of there. The ball's loose." So they'd kind of do preventive officiating by telling a guy, that was before they had the flag down thing. It was they're like, "Get out of there, get out. You can't play goalie," when they didn't have a rule. When kids did it all the time. And now they were smart to do that, to put this in here to discourage kids. The lower level, you could get away with telling a kid, "Get out of there," and not throw a flag. But high school, when you throw that flag, man, the coach is going to want.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely.
If you're Ravenswood, you're doing a game that you don't send somebody off. Trust me, you're not going to come back.
You can always explain the rules and say, "Hey, we have a conduct foul. It's a technical foul. We're just going to wave it off and give it to possession." But I mean, the rule was put in place because I think it was like, this rule was 4 years ago they got put this in place. There was a YouTube video that went viral of an entire defensive team standing in the crease and the offensive team just landing shots on every single player. That's why they put this rule in, is to prevent that wall from occurring. They realize how dangerous it is.
I've never seen that before.
I mean, as a defensive
20
player,
years, I
can 100% say, as a defensive player in high school and college, I got in the crease when my goalie went out to act as a goalkeeper. 100%. I did the exact same thing. I'm glad they put the rule in because it's a safety aspect.
Yeah. Agreed.
But again, if you know the rules, you know the way that technical foul rule works, because you can, having a play on conduct foul, I've never had a play on conduct foul. It's always,
you have to remember,
whistle conduct foul.
Most coaches only understand that if you throw a flag down for a technical foul, the only way that flag gets waved off is if a goal scored.
Yeah, 100%.
So if you start changing that rule, they're going to go, "What the heck are you? When did that start?"
Right.
So I know what you're saying. It's kind of, you can sell it.
It's sticky.
Great. Yeah, you can sell it. Awesome.
It's sticky. And that's the thing. You sell the call and have that good relationship with that coach of being very, very open with your communication, not being like standoffish with coaches. I'm sorry, Alex. I wish I could be more, more black and white with that, but that's such a gray area.
And my only thing is, like you were saying, we're throwing a flag, say on a loose ball, technical, which is not a time-serving penalty.
Right.
But if you throw a flag, somebody should be in the box.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's kind of, and I might be completely wrong in that adjudication, 100%. I've never had anyone ask me that specific scenario. I might be completely wrong. I think if I throw a flag in that, I'm just going to sell the living snot out of it. Just sell it, and just be like, this is a safety issue. It is what it is. It is a safety issue. But like I said before, if we have that scenario, the first time we have a defender go in the crease as a goalkeeper, it's going to be a conduct foul. Second time, it's a team unsportsmanlike foul that can go on any other person on the field except for the goalkeeper. If they step in the crease to act as a goalkeeper, it's now a team foul. Anyone can get that foul. Kind of like the college face-off rule, where if they get 2 violations, the third one, whoever that third one's on is going to serve the violation, not an in-home. It's a player violation, not a team foul. Okay, does anyone have anything else to add, or could I go ahead and continue on with the crease play? We good? All right, let's continue on. Okay, loose ball outside the crease. A goalie attempting to gain possession of the ball outside of the crease may be stick checked. Clamping atop the ball inside or outside the crease is not considered possession. We talked about that a little bit ago. No contact can be made to the body of the goalkeeper at any time, though. If a goalie is trying to play a loose ball outside the crease, he is allowed to be stick checked. You can lift his stick up. You can check the top of his stick. His stick is free game as long as he is attempting to play a loose ball outside the crease. So here's a really, really good example. This purple goalie, ball is loose outside the crease. We're going to have 4 or 5 defenders, 3 or 4 attackmen. They're checking his stick. This is a great example of loose ball outside the crease. Goalie's trying to play it, never gains possession of it. He's clamped on top of it. There's no interference call here. I did find out what the referees blew the play dead for was the offensive guy steps into the crease. So during all of this, there's no possession. You can see the offensive guys are checking the goalie stick. It's fine. The reason they blow it dead was because an offensive guy stepped in the crease. I'll do it one more time. We can see that at one point, the purple goalie's clamped on top of it. They lifted his stick up to get that ball out. There he's clamped on top of it. They lift his stick up and pull the ball out. It is free game, but they cannot make body contact with the goalie. So even if it's inadvertent contact, it doesn't matter. You can't make any kind of body contact with the goalie while he's in the crease. A free clear is only awarded when a goalie is interfered with when he is in possession of the ball. A flag down, slow whistle for a technical foul or personal foul, and the play is called dead. This is the reason we're going to give a free clear. A free clear is not awarded for a loose ball technical foul against a riding team. So whenever a team is clearing, a free clear can be awarded for these situations. If there's a flag down for a technical foul or personal foul and the play is called dead on the defensive half of the field, we're going to award it via free clear. If a team is clearing, the other team is riding, and we have balls goes loose and we have a push, just a loose ball technical foul, that is not a free clear. We're going to reset our counts and keep the play going. That is basically how it is. A free clear is awarded when a goalie is interfered with and he has possession of the ball inside of his crease, as in a pass, or we have a flag down for a technical foul or personal foul and the play is called dead on the defensive half of the field. A free clear is not awarded for a loose ball technical foul against the riding team, but the accounts will reset upon a technical foul. Counts will not reset. Our 20-second clearing count will not reset on a flag down play. Only on a technical foul will it reset. The in and out violation. This happens more than we'd like to admit, but it does occur. No player may possess the ball outside of the crease and enter the goal crease area. That is basically how the rule states. No player may possess the ball outside of the crease and enter the goal crease area. They can possess the ball inside of the crease and exit the crease, but they can't do the opposite. It's considered an in and out violation. A defensive player may possess the ball within the crease and exit the crease, but he cannot run through the crease while possessing the ball. Same thing as the rule. You can't be outside the crease and enter the crease. A defensive player or goalie with possession in the crease shall be given 4 seconds to leave the crease or pass the ball outside of the crease. So a defensive player inside the crease also has a 4 seconds to get it out. 100%, 4 seconds. But the last one, a defensive player possessing the ball within the crease who gives the ball to the goalie within the crease shall not be awarded a new 4-second count. So let's say a defender picks up a loose ball, he's in the crease. We start the 4 seconds. Let's say he puts the ball on the ground. Goalie picks it up or puts the ball into the goalie stick. That 4-second count is still continuing. Just because he gives it to someone else doesn't mean we give him a new 4-second count. That 4-second count is going to continue as long as the ball is possessed. I know we have all seen times when the defensive player has possession of the ball, he'll run over to the crease, slam his stick down on the ground with the ball underneath it, and he'll drop the ball inside the crease for the goalie to pick it up. If that occurs, that's perfectly fine as long as his body does not enter the crease. That's the biggest thing. We got to look for those in and out violations. With goalkeepers, we need to be very, very, very particular with how we're going to call it on a goalkeeper. Because a goalkeeper who has 1 foot in the crease and 1 foot outside the crease is fine. But if he lifts his back foot up, he is no longer in the crease. If he possesses the ball, picks up a loose ball, and then steps back in, that is an in and out violation. You cannot possess the ball outside the crease and enter the crease. That is an in and out violation. Crease violations, the most common technical foul we're probably going to end up seeing around the crease area. No offensive player may enter the crease at any time. Period. No offensive player is allowed to be in that crease. Defensive players, yes, but offensive players, no. We must be in the best position to make these calls. We cannot make big crease play calls 30 yards away. We have to be in the correct position. If we have a crease violation, it is a technical foul turnover. An offensive player who runs through the crease while the opposing team possesses the ball shall be a flag down slow whistle. So if we have a defensive team who's clearing the ball and the offensive guy runs through the crease, we throw the flag. It is an illegal procedure for a crease violation. It is a flag down slow whistle play. So here are some examples of a crease violation, or maybe not a crease violation. This first one is going to play a couple of times. Does someone have something to say? Have something to say? Go ahead. Have something to say. Go ahead. Oh, we got a loop. Hold on. Let's make sure that we're all muted. All right, there we go. Okay. Sorry, fellas. All right, so this example right here is going to play it play it quickly, but then also play it in slow motion. I want you to tell me if this is a crease violation or a goal. Now, this is an old video, but tell me if it's a crease violation or a goal.
That's a goal.
Okay.
I would say no goal because he dove towards the crease or towards the goal.
Isn't that a goal because of a player's where he last was rule?
Yes, unless he leaves his
That's a
feet
goal.
of his own volition. This player is not pushed. He leaves his feet of his own volition. So
But his back foot is still down when the ball crosses the line.
it doesn't matter. You have
Doesn't matter.
it does not matter. And in this instance, it does not matter. So this is one of those real tricky plays where we have to know multiple rules at the same time. So let me go back to kind of like that freeze frame right here. Number one, this purple player right here, his feet are grounded outside the goal, 100%. You're spot on. This ball right here looks like it's past the goal line, but he is in this process of going into the crease. This is going to be a no goal. This is his own volition leaving his feet. There's no dive rule in lacrosse and high school lacrosse. So let's go back full speed one more time and watch it again. Yeah, he's diving. We need to wave this off. He dove into the goal. It doesn't matter if that ball is through past the goal line. If he's diving, he left his feet of his own volition. This is a no goal. We're going to call a crease violation and wave it off. Now, again, this is college right here, guys. This is Oregon playing. There's a dive rule allowed at the college level, not at the high school level. Now, here's the big thing. Ben was talking about it. Yes, Ben's correct. If his feet are outside the goal and he is grounded and that ball enters the goal and then he enters the crease, that is fine, except on a diving play. No player is allowed to dive into the goal. This kid dives. So let's watch it one more time. You are not allowed to dive at the high school level. If he remained standing If he was completely upright, ball went in and then he stepped in, that's fine. But he was in the process of diving. This is one of the things where the officials were in a good position to make the call. So that official was right there to make this call. This is a diving play at the high school level. Here's another one. For the U.S. lacrosse, you make the call.
Oh, yeah.
So what they want to know, is this a crease violation or an illegal hit?
That's a tough one.
What's everyone think?
Wow.
Illegal hit.
So I hear crease violation and illegal hit. So
No, it's a hit from the side. It's a clean check.
I agree. I agree. This hit is from the side and the front. I say this is a legal hit. His motion continues him into the crease. This is a crease violation call. And this is something we will run into. We absolutely will run into stuff like this of players getting hit legally and they land into the crease. If they're hit legally and land in the crease, it's a crease violation. If they're hit illegally, we throw the flag for the illegal hit. Once the offensive guy goes into the crease, we're going to kill the play because he's in the crease, and we're going to adjudicate the first foul. It's a legal hit, lands in the crease, official does the correct thing, he yells play on, and blows it dead. Okay? So we have a legal hit, slides into the crease, no person can be in the crease area. Now, I will say this much. It is a play on scenario. We'll yell play on. But no matter what, play cannot be started when an offensive guy is in the crease. So what I would do in this instance, he's in the crease, play on, and blow the whistle immediately. Just kill it. Award the ball and restart play. Don't let the play just continue on. Okay, and I'm going to apologize for the really bad video in this next play. So we have black and white. Were we watching the ball or watching everything? Let's watch it again. Well, what did you see?
Push.
Loose ball push.
That's right. It's a loose ball push in the back. So it was a play on. The ball's going to go back to black. Since we have an offensive guy in the crease, we have to kill the play. Got to kill it. White 100% pushed black player into the crease. You cannot disadvantage a player like that. He pushes him right there. We have a loose ball push. The fact that the goal collapsed is the exact reason I was talking about before. These are collapsible goals. They will do this if someone makes contact with them. They're very flimsy. So we have to be on the lookout for those kind of things. Don't get into the habit of ball watching. Watch the entire play. Okay, here's the next one. So we have green possessing the ball, and they're against white.
Ooh.
Okay, we're going to watch this a couple of times. This play right here is something we will see a lot of because attackmen are trained to do this. This attackman is going to try to get his defender to go higher so he can roll underneath. Tell me exactly what you would do in this scenario. He rolls.
Crease violation. He jumped into it.
So I hear crease violation. He jumped into it.
But we have
Be
such a
watching
bad
his feet
angle.
once he leaves his feet.
It is a bad angle. He does leave his feet. You're correct. But watch the whole play. I agree that this is not a goal. But we're missing something.
Well, we can't tell if he dove or it looks like he dove, and the official who's got the good angle probably saw the kid leave his feet and not get touched by the defender. But we can't tell from this angle.
I agree.
We can't tell at all.
I agree. We can't. It's
It looks
hard
like he
to see
jumped.
from this
It
angle.
looks like he dove. Looks like he
It-
jumped right at the end there.
100%. He 100% dove. But I went and found this exact thing. He called a crease violation, not because he landed in the crease, but because he touched the crease before. But this was a flag down play. There's a flag for White pushing the guy in the back.
Pushing, yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the weird things, and this is something that we have to be on our toes about. An offensive player who's pushed, if the offensive player doesn't take advantage of him being pushed and jump afterwards, that's a bad offensive play. This defensive player pushes the offensive guy who then jumps, but the push happens first. So watch it again. Watch the defender. He pushes him. Throw the flag first for the push. Run in and then adjudicate your foul. You can see this defender. He knows he pushed him. Watch it again. I know it's a bad angle and I apologize. Defensive player pushes Green. Green jumps. He stepped in the crease before he jumped. So the goal's waved off and he did have a flag on the play. It's a really weird angle and I apologize. Here's another one, another great example. So offense is possessing the ball. White's possessing, Red's defending. Great defense. Now, the biggest thing I want you to look at this is this official right here. Whenever we're going to make crease violation calls like this guy, I think he maybe went a little bit too far into the crease, but he made the best, most demonstrative call possible for this crease violation. Run straight in, nope, crease violation right there, and points the other direction and blows it back in. Great position to make this call. So now here's an upper view. This white offensive player leaves his feet of his own volition. He is not pushed. He jumps, watch his back foot. There'll be another angle. His back foot lands in the crease. And this will happen. He leaves his feet of his own volition, touch. If he leaves his feet of his own volition, if his foot, watch the possession of the ball, he leaves his feet, then shoots, boom. He was not grounded before that ball left his cross. He was not grounded. Because he was not grounded, his foot was not touching the ground before the ball left his stick, this goal is going to be waved off. You must be grounded the entire time before the ball leaves your stick. 100% great crease violation call. He still possesses the ball while he's in the air and then touches the crease. That is a crease violation, no goal. See, the ball is still in his stick. Now it's out. He's already in the air. He left his feet of his own volition and made that call. Great crease violation call. Great positioning by the official. Great everything, really. Only thing I would say is not being that far into the crease when you're making that call. Just run in, point to the crease, wave off the goal, and point the other direction. There's no reason to run all the way in front of the goalie because he also restarted that play right where the goalie was. You don't want to be too close. So this is goal not counted and goal counted for crease violation plays. This is a goal. The offensive player has possession of the ball. He's juking the goalie, shoots, scores, then goes into the crease, but he is grounded the entire time. Grounded the entire time. This is a goal, and that's good to go. Here's another example. Here's one of the other one. Blue player is rolling underneath his defender. Great call. He dove into the crease. There's no diving allowed at the high school level. He was not pushed. It does not matter if the player scores. He cannot dive into the crease. Great call by the referee, running in, pointing at the ground, and restarting the play. Being super demonstrative. So watching the white player this time. Now, I will say with this play, we're kind of going back to that other play we watched at. This is kind of one of the things, if you think it occurs, just do it anyways. From my perspective, this should have been a flag down for a push, number one. Flag down push, and the goal, you make that call. Blue pushes him, white player jumps. What would you call? What do you think? Watch it one more time.
It's hard from the angle to determine if his hand touched that line or not. I can't tell.
I agree. If his hand touches that line, we have a no goal because he's still possessing the ball while he's in the air. If his hand doesn't touch the line, he's fine because he lands outside the crease. Watch it again. He's in the air while he is shooting. If he touches the line, it's not a goal. You're not allowed to dive, even if you are pushed. This is why crease play is such a difficult call to make. Go ahead, John.
In that scenario, we're saying, okay, we've got a flag down because of the push. After the push, he leaves of his own choice. So the goal would count if he doesn't land in the crease, but if he touches the crease, then we'd wave off the goal. Is that what you're
correct? It doesn't matter if he's pushed. He cannot dive into the crease. That rule still maintains its pace where you have to be grounded before that ball leaves your stick. If he jumps, even if he's pushed, if he jumps and then shoots, if he lands in the crease, we're going to wave it off because that's a dive. He's diving.
But he looked like he was diving over the crease, but he wasn't intending to land in the crease.
Correct. Yeah.
He was, when he was pushed, he touched the crease. But if he wasn't pushed, he would have landed outside. Correct.
And it's one of the things you have to view the entire play, see it from every angle. And those officials did the right thing in that play of running up to each other to see what the other one had. Rules. That's one of the good things about the 3-man game. As you can see, both those officials were right there with each other and they were looking at each other where they were communicating. Both those officials are right there. The official blows his whistle, they run in. And that's where you guys can communicate with each other as partners. Did you have it? Or if he shakes his head, I had nothing, then we have a good goal. If he says something else, no, I got him in the crease, then we can both wave it off together because we can say he dove into the crease. And having your partner is a really big aspect of this, especially when it's running away from you. So the airborne player with the whole diving thing, the location of an airborne player is the same as at the time such player was last in contact with the field or extension of the field. You are where you last were. We've already been talking about this, except when in the process of shooting, the player must stay grounded outside the crease until the ball has completely passed the plane of the goal. Except when in the process of shooting, the player must stay grounded outside the crease until the ball has completely passed the plane of the goal. That is the way this works, 100%. He's allowed to jump and from outside the crease and land outside the crease and be shooting while in the air. But if he jumps and then shoots the ball and lands in the crease, he has dove towards the goal during his shot. It is not a goal. Be in the best place to make the call for airborne players. We don't see it a whole lot in high school, but when you do see it, knowing the rule is going to be what's going to be the difference between you walking up the field and you getting screamed at by coaches and not knowing what to say, and you being screamed at by coaches, and all of a sudden, coach, this is the rule, and then the coach leaving it alone. Knowing the rule, especially rules like this, are what's going to be very, very important when you have high tense situations where a goal is involved. Okay, so here is some examples of dives that we will see. Fast forward a little bit. So remember, in the high school, a dive is not allowed. Okay, this example right here is the first one I want to really look at. Number one, I'm going to go back. Watch the defensive player. Does the defensive player push the offensive player to gain an advantage? That's the first thing we're looking at. Yes, defensive player pushes the offensive player. Offensive player leaves his feet while the ball is still possessed and then shoots the ball. Next thing we got to look at is he makes contact with that goalie before that ball goes in. No matter what, this goal is going to be waved off and we're going to have a flag down for a push. So just like we said, this official has a flag down and this is going to be no goal. Another example of the same thing happening. Does the defensive player push the offensive player into the crease? Watch number 17. Push. Makes contact with the goalie. This cannot happen. Push. We have a flag down and no goal. Offensive player pushes him. He left his feet of his own volition, diving towards the goal. We have no goal. Push, left his feet of his own volition, flag down, no goal. Diving is not allowed at the high school level. It is at the college level, but not the high school level. Here's a great example of a player diving from outside the crease to outside the crease. He never touches the crease. This is fine and legal. You can see him. He dives. That's perfectly fine because he landed outside of the crease. Player leaves his feet of his own volition and shoots the ball. Has possession of the ball while in the air. This is a dive and no goal. Red pushes him. He leaves his feet. That's a dive. We have a flag down and no goal. Black pushes green. Was he grounded? That's what we're looking at. Was he grounded or not? Was he grounded or not while the ball was still in his cross? Grounded or not? But no matter what, a player cannot dive at the high school level. Okay, shots released before the horn. The official makes the call on whether a shot is a shot. That is the biggest thing. A defensive player with 3 seconds left in the game who says, I'm taking a shot, and then just flings the ball to the other side of the field. You, as the official, make the determination whether it's a shot or not. A shot released before the horn sounds and enters the goal shall be a goal unless it makes contact with any other offensive player. It makes contact with the goalie, his cross, or the goal post, and then makes contact with any other player. So let's go through those two scenarios real quick. We have a shot in the air, horn sounds, goes off of an offensive player, then goes into the goal. No goal. It went off an offensive player. We have a shot while the ball is in the air, the horn sounds, hits the goalkeeper, his cross or the goal post, then hits a defensive player and goes into the goal. No goal. Those are our two scenarios. The whistle shall be withheld until the ball comes to rest or meets the above criteria. Here's one of the biggest things with mechanics in this instance. If we have a shot at the end of a period, we're getting low on time. This is where, as officials, we must communicate with each other on the field as to what's occurring. Hey, John, we got 10 seconds left in the game. If we have a shot, let's hold our whistle until we know what's happening. Hold the whistle. Talk to each other of what's going to occur in the next few seconds. Let's make sure that we are in the best position to make the call and that we make the right call when it occurs. The last thing we want to do is if we have a chance where a team could score and the ball is in the air and the horn sounds, is us blow the whistle. Because here's the thing, if we blow the whistle, no matter what, play is dead. If we inadvertently blow the whistle, no matter what, we have to kill the play. Well, let's say that ball rolls into that goal, legally goes into the goal, and the team wins or the team ties. It is now game over because you blew the whistle. Hold your whistle if a team has an opportunity to shoot and the horn's going to sound once the ball is in the air. Hold your whistle until you know what's going on. Think about the clock in these type of situations. Goal scored. A goal is scored when the ball, loose ball, completely passes from the front, completely through the imaginary plane formed by the rear edges of the goal line, the goal posts, and the crossbar of the goal, regardless of who supplied the impetus. Yes, defensive players can score goals on their own goal. If you look at that diagram, a ball touching the goal line is not a goal. It has to be completely past the goal line to be a goal. It is a myth that says, oh, if the ball hits 3 pipes, it's a goal. No, the ball has to completely pass the rear edge of the goal. Now, I had a great texting conversation with a referee this week, and he was asking about the goalie who has the ball in his stick, bringing his stick past the plane of the goal. That is not a goal because it must be a loose ball, not a ball possessed. I've seen youth guys do it, youth goalies, they'll have the ball in their stick, they'll bring the ball back past the goal line and then throw the ball out. It's not a goal. It must be a loose ball, not possessed. Mechanics wise, for the 2-man game, I went over this in my two-man training and the 3-man training. This is the mechanics after a goal. So the lead down there, designated by the L, following a legal goal, the lead will retrieve the ball, signal goal, and underhand toss to the trail. Then dead ball officiate while moving towards his wing position and immediately giving the wait signal. The trail, following a legal goal, will watch for dead ball fouls, such as late hits, wait for his partner to signal, then proceed to retrieve the ball from the lead and then move to his face-off position. Well, he'll be the face-off official. Biggest thing with mechanics after a goal is scored is to dead ball officiate. Watch what's going on. See everything, because you still have 20 players on the field as well as players that are running in to substitute now once the goal is scored. Watch everything. There is no hurry to get this completed. They have 20 seconds once that goal is scored, which is plenty of time for something to happen. Dead ball officiate. Same mechanic coming from the other direction. Lead will run in, blow his whistle, run in, signal the goal, dead ball officiate, grab the ball, toss it up to the trail. The trail will then proceed to be the face-off official. Once the lead gets up into his face-off position, he becomes the wing, will immediately hold his hand up in the air and give the wait signal, and is going to wait for the field to be set. In the 3-man mechanic, we have a little bit of a different scenario. So the lead, following a legal goal, will retrieve the ball, signal goal, dead ball officiate, like always, he will wait for the single side official to run in and then proceed to the midfield. There again, there's no hurry to sprint up into our new positions. After a goal is scored, we got guys that are celebrating, we got guys that are ticked off. So let's dead ball officiate and then proceed from there. The lead on a 3-man mechanic, whoever signals the goal, will be the next face-off official. The signal on this side of the field, we can see the bench side. On this side of the field will become the off-wing official, and the trail will proceed up to be what U.S. lacrosse calls the lead left. Lead left, that's why it's designated with an L signal. Okay, so this is the 3-man mechanic of the crossing. From the other direction, the lead will run in, he'll become the face-off official. The single will stay on that side of the field and become the lead left, and the trail will proceed up to the wing line. Now, this is up to the officials of whether they want to rotate at any time. Same thing in the 2-man mechanic. If an official is getting reamed the entire time by coaches, rotate yourself to the other side of the field. If the trail in this instance is in the rocking chair, which means one team is scoring over and over and over and over again, and the trail is always going to be the trail, rotate yourselves and rotate positions. There's no rule against rotating when we feel it's necessary to rotate. So this is goal, no goal scenarios. Was this a goal?
No.
It is not a goal. Let's slow motion it one more time. Has that ball completely passed the goal line? Yes, it lands right up in there in the corner. It's a beautiful shot, but that ball never completely passed the goal line. Therefore, it is not a goal. Now, I will say that official was in the right position, but that ball never completely crossed the plane of the goal. And I will say this much. This official who runs in over here should never signal the goal until he communicates with his partner. That ball never completely passes the plane, and you're going to see this single side official. This guy right here, this should not happen. You on this side should never signal the goal until you communicate over here. I know he has not communicated this far away. He runs in while signaling the goal. You should never be in motion while signaling this. It's poor to make makes the decision. This guy's the one that makes the decision whether it's a goal. Him running and signaling goal, and let's say he says it's not a goal and he waves it off. Now we have one guy signaling goal running in 10 yards and another guy who's waving it off. That's not a goal. Now we have a huge situation where we're going to have a disagreement on the field. We're going to have two coaches that are either super happy or very, very angry. Never be this official who's running and signaling goal. Let this official make the determination. If you see something as the off official, run in and then communicate with your other official. Don't just signal immediately. Like you can say yes with your head, you can say no with your head, or you can run in and just talk to each other. Remember, lacrosse is a game of how many goals scored wins. Goals matter. We have to be correct. Doing this signal is the incorrect way to do this. Run in and communicate with your partner if you see something that maybe he did not.
Hey, Gene.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to add too about taking your time, because I think we've probably all seen this or experienced it. There's a shot on the goal and the ball is outside the goal on the outside part of the net. So don't be in a hurry just because you see that net move that there's a goal.
Yeah, correct. If we see a shot and we see the net move and we think it might be in there, we don't have to be
on the outside part.
Yeah,
on the outside.
On the outside of the cage. Yeah, we don't have to be in a hurry to make the call. Now, here's the thing:
Don't be in a hurry.
If we do blow the whistle thinking it's a goal and it's outside, it's no harm, no foul. Because since it's ensnared in the net outside, the goalie's going to get possession of it.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul, but don't be in a hurry to blow your whistle. Look at it, make sure it's there, blow the whistle, then run in. But in case that does occur, since the ball is outside the crease and we blow the play dead while the ball is in the crease and it's not a goal, goalie's just going to get possession of it. It's we don't want to say no harm, no foul, but it kind of is a no harm, no foul in that instance, because it's outside the goal, it's within the crease. Since play is blown dead, since we blew the whistle, goalie's going to get possession of it anyways. I wish there was a better angle on this. Watch the ball. We'll go back one more time. Now, the referee in this instance called it a no goal because he believed it did not completely pass the plane of the goal. Loose ball, goalie reaches in, pulls it back out. That's one of those things you have to be in the right position to make that call. A goal not scored, and I'm going to go through all of these. A goal shall be disallowed when the shooting team has a flag down or play on. A team cannot score a goal if there's a play on for a technical foul or a flag down against that team. A goal will be disallowed if any part of the body of the attacking team is within the crease. Now, bringing up that rule, let's say that a defensive guy pushes an offensive player into the crease. While he's in the crease, one of his teammates shoots and scores. That is no goal because with his teammates in the crease. It doesn't matter how he got in the crease. If he got in there legally or illegally, if he's in the crease, no goal can occur. If the attacking team is offsides, a goal is disallowed. If the official's whistle is sounded for any reason, no goal is allowed. The head of the shooter's cross comes off, which has happened to all of us. Guy shoots the ball and the head of his cross flies off. No goal. The scorer's cross is found to be illegal, or adjust the cross before the inspection occurs, before an inspection occurs. That is no goal. So if we have a goal scored and all of a sudden the opposing coach says, hey, I want a stick check on that guy. If we grab his stick and it's found to be illegal, the goal is disallowed. If the player comes in contact with the goalkeeper within his crease or touches any part of the goal, the netting or crease while in the act of shooting, no goal. If a timeout is called by the shooting team before the ball breaks the plane of the goal. So this instance, the team is shooting, ball has not entered the goal and they yell timeout. Bad job on the coach. We're going to wave off that goal if it goes in because he called timeout. If the attacking player becomes airborne of his own volition before or during or after the release of the shot and lands within the crease. If the shot is released before the end of a period, or sorry, prior to the end of a period, the goal is disallowed. Okay, now in all of my examples, I'm never trying to pick on referees. That's not my goal, is to make referees look bad or shine poorly on them in any way. I want you to watch the entire play before making a determination. Watch the entire thing. So White's running down the field. Let's watch it again. See if you can figure out what's going on. And then I'm going to turn the sound on. White shoots. This official right here is the lead running this direction. Look where he signals this goal. I'm going to turn the sound on now so you can hear a little bit better. So what has happened in this scenario is the lead who's running this direction to the right, the lead that is running this direction, is making a goal, no-go call, no goal from 30 yards away. The ball, I'm not sure how well the resolution is on y'all's end. The ball bounces off of the goalie and never entered the goal, yet he still signals the goal from 30 yards away. This cannot happen. If you can run fast, you need to beat this play. You need to run as hard as you possibly can to get down there. If you cannot run very fast, as the trail on the other side of the field, you need to play a little bit higher towards the midfield line so that you can get down there quickly. This is just, it's bad mechanics. Really, really bad mechanics. You cannot signal this goal right here. If you blow the whistle, run in and say something. Like we got to make this determination. Go back to the slide on listing no goals. Okay, I'll go back to it in a second. I'll go back to it. And the meeting is going to be over at 10 o'clock. Let me get back to that slide for you, Dean. Here you go, Dean. Did you have something to add?
Gene, I just typed it in. The last point, the shot is released prior.
Oh, it should be after. I'm sorry, after. That goal is not scored when the shot is released after. That's a clerical error on my part, and I apologize.
Yeah, sorry. I just thought we should correct it. Thanks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate that. Yeah, the shot is released after the end of the period, not prior. After.
A quick question on that slide. It says a timeout is called before the shooting team. A timeout is called by the shooting team before the ball breaks the plane of the goal.
Correct.
If the ball is released, isn't that a loose ball and they can't call timeout because they're no longer in possession?
Correct. It is. You can call that kind of however you want. Yes, a team must be in possession of the ball to call a timeout or be guaranteed possession. Yes, he cannot call a timeout. You can rule it as you called timeout, wave it off with a technical foul because we have a loose ball. If you decide to give it to him, it's going to be a no goal anyways. This listing right here is exactly out of the rule book, except for my last one that I wrote incorrectly. This is all the rules listed under a goal not scored. That's how US Lacrosse explained it. But yes, you are correct. If a team shoots the ball is now loose. They cannot call timeout no matter what. So in that instance, it's going to be a technical foul against that team.
Hey, Gene.
Go ahead, Alan.
Everybody needs to remember that when a team calls a timeout, as soon as they call the timeout, we blow the whistle. And then we figure out, were they allowed to call a timeout and either award the timeout or transition the ball the other way for an illegal procedure.
On timeout calls, no matter what, we're going to kill it. If we hear timeout, kill it. We'll figure out who called it after the fact.
And was the ball in the air, all that stuff will come later, but you automatically stop it. And sometimes, especially with the younger kids, sometimes we get into the habit of, okay, well, coach, you're not allowed to have a timeout, and we kind of ignore it. And then the other coach is going to go nuts on you.
Right. If we hear a timeout call, we need to call that timeout, no matter what. We need to call it. So I think I only have 2 slides left, and then I'm going to get into the COVID-19 policy for this year. This is goal scored with a technical foul. If we have a flag down scenario for a technical foul, the goal is going to wave off that technical foul. If we have a flag down for a personal foul and we have a goal scored, the personal foul is still going to go be served, but technical fouls will be waved off. So if we have a technical foul violation for a flag and we have a flag down off of that technical foul, us as the officials, we're going to run over to the box. We're going to signal goal. We're going to say what that technical foul is, push in this instance. We're going to pull out our flag. wave the flag in the air as we're waving it off, and we're going to signal goal again. If we have a personal foul, we're going to do the exact same thing, but we're not going to wave it. We're going to signal goal. We're going to say / illegal body check. We're going to say what the number is, and then we're going to say goal is good again. We're still going to do the exact same thing for technical fouls and personal fouls, but technical fouls we will wave off in that instance. Okay, I'm going to stop this share real quick. Okay, so at the very, very beginning of the chat, I put a link to our YouTube channel for the Tennessee Lacrosse Officials Association. On that YouTube link, there is a video of our COVID-19 policies for this coming season. It is just a straight video of what we're going to be doing this season. What I want to do is I want to explain something real quick before anyone has any questions. They start emailing me about it. So the big thing with our COVID policy and COVID procedures for this next season, the biggest one is our face-off mechanic. So here is our COVID procedures for this coming season. The face-off mechanic for this, I'm going to read through this and then go through the mechanic. Upon the start of a face-off, a start of the game or on a face-off, they will occur in this way. Both face-off players will line up 6 feet off of the midline for the face-off commands. I mean, they're 6 feet off and so are you. The official will visually inspect the legality of the ball. We're making sure it has the Noxie symbol on it, and then place the ball on the ground before the players address the midline. The referee will visually motion and audibly command in, and the players will address the midline. After the players are up to the midline, the official will say down, and both players will address the ball. The official can make adjustments as needed, but cannot touch the player or his cross. The official will then back out of the face-off area, place the whistle into his mouth, and when motionless, say set. The official will blow his whistle, varying the cadence, and then begin live ball play. This is our mechanic this year for face-offs. This PowerPoint was sent off to every single coach. They know what's going on as well. So for the two-man mechanic, the face-off official and the wing official, face-off official will inspect the legality of the ball. Both the other players on the face-off are 6 feet off the midline. He'll run in, place the ball onto the ground. He will then back out, visually motion and audibly command in, and the players will go up to the midline. Once the players are up to the midline, he will say down. Both players will go down. You can adjust the players as you see fit. Once the players are legal, we're going to back out. When motionless, we're going to say set. We're not going to say set as we're backing out. We're going to back out, stop, set, whistle. And the three-man mechanic, same thing for the face-off official. He's going to inspect the legality of the ball, but you can see the off face-off official is lined up on the midline with the face-off guy. Both the players are still 6 feet off the midline. He's going to run in, place the ball onto the ground, then visually motion and audibly command in. The players are going to go in. The off face-off official, just stay there, inspecting for the sticks to be perpendicular to the ground. The face-off official, you can move around the play to make sure that the sticks are legal. Once we find they're legal, we're going to back out to our normal positions, as the off face-off official and the face-off official usually do in the three-man mechanic. Biggest thing, face-off official must remain motionless when saying set, and then you're going to vary your cadence of the whistle after the fact. Here is the visual motion. And I'm sorry, I couldn't find any referee that didn't have his hands out except for the unsportsmanlike conduct foul. The official shall use this signal after placing the ball on the ground when visually motioning for players to address the midline. The arm shall be held outwards, followed by a motion with both arms into the body and to his front, a clapping motion. While using this motion, the official shall say in, telling the players to address the midline. Those are our COVID policies for the face-off. Now, the itching question for us is the mask recommendations. Before the start of a game, the official shall wear a face covering until the start of a contest.
During all dead ball situations, timeouts, injuries, equipment inspections, and in between periods, when within 6 feet of players, fans, or coaches, the officials shall wear their face covering. In times when live ball play has stopped and will resume with a quick restart, a face covering is not required. So basically stating, if we are around players, around coaches, around fans during any dead ball situation, we will have a face covering on, period. This is protection of us, but also everyone else. We will have a face covering on. Myself, I don't care what kind of face covering you wear. If you want to wear the gator, the buff, or just a regular mask, that's perfectly fine. That's up to you. What I will ask is, do you not wear one that's of crazy colors? Neon pink, neon yellow, neon blue. Try to make it as close to what we are wearing as possible. Black, white, gray, some kind of off color. Blue, if you want to wear the blue surgical mask, that's fine as well. And don't wear something that reps a school. If you work, like I work at Oakland High School, if I wear an Oakland High School mask and I go officiate another school and they see me wearing an Oakland High School mask, they're probably going to have a problem, especially if the other team is Oakland. So let's think about that aspect. That's our mask recommendations. So pregame, when we're walking up the field, we're going to have a face mask on. The live ball plays, if we blow the whistle and we're restarting play immediately, you don't have to pull your mask up for that. That's not the point. But whenever we're around fans, players, or coaches, we're going to have that face covering on. We have to stay on top of this as officials. But if anyone officiates other sports in the fall, you know as well as I do that we've had games canceled because teams get quarantined. We have this be a constant battle this coming season. Protect yourself. Because if you get quarantined, now you're out. But if you have that face covering on, it's going to help protect yourself. No matter what your views are, wear the face covering during the contest. Before the game, dead ball situations, and leaving the field, have that face covering on. Let's make sure we're professional when we're on the field, before we leave, before we arrive to the field, when we're on the field, and as we're leaving the field. Be professional.
And I could tell you, as someone who's under quarantine right now, it sucks. The feelings suck.
I mean, yeah, I had COVID. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. So let's just make sure that we're being professional. We're on the field with these mask recommendations. Most of our home institutions are requiring their coaches to wear face coverings the entire time. So if they're maintaining their professional accountability, we'd have to as well. Okay, I have 9 minutes left. Does anyone have any questions for me? It's not enough time for me to get into the dead ball mechanic, which is fine. There's already a presentation on YouTube on the dead ball mechanic, but I will be covering it again for our trainings. I will say that the Arbiter events page, where you guys are getting assignments for these trainings, there's about to be 6 more on there. Those 6 trainings are for the Tennessee annual rules meeting. So instead of us doing a big statewide meeting, we're going to do Zoom calls. And there's going to be several of them. Those meetings are going to go into Arbiter hopefully later on today. I'm just waiting for the all call from Jeff to go ahead and publish them. The Zoom links are in those calls. Big thing is, before you attend those meetings, you need to have already watched the 2021 rules interpretation video. It is linked on the TNLOA YouTube page. You can watch it there. You need to have already watched it. We are now 3 weeks out, 2.5, 3 weeks out from the first scrimmage occurring in the state. If you have not completed your rules exam or your online rules course, you need to go ahead and get that knocked out. There are some people that are having problems with it. I have already contacted US Lacrosse about those people. If you're having problems with your online rules course or your rules exam, you need to let me know. For all of the new officials that are in here that are not a part of Arbiter yet, you need to become a US Lacrosse member before you can be assigned to Arbiter. You have to be a US Lacrosse member. Once you have that US Lacrosse membership, go ahead and shoot that to me. I'll send it over to your assigner, and then they'll add you into Arbiter, and then you can go ahead and go in and put in all your information. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for me, or does anyone want to open up to any discussion about the training we did today?
Hey, Gene, this COVID face-off policy, is that a U.S. Lacrosse thing, or is that just Tennessee?
That's just Tennessee. US Lacrosse allows us to add modifications as we see fit within our state. This is just a Tennessee thing.
All right, so how is
but-
that going to be communicated to outlying coaches and enforcement? I mean, I know in Nashville, you'll probably have a lot from Kentucky, and I mean, there's a lot of travel involved with high school lacrosse. So I mean, what's the it's a kind of a difficult thing as with, I don't know if you saw football this year when they tried to move the umpire to the offensive backfield on some things. It just really caused confusion among associations.
Yeah, I think that's more along the lines of what the coach's responsibility is. The coach is going to be responsible for telling the away coach what the rules are. I mean, again, the rules aren't changing. All we're doing is modifying our pre-whistle mechanic. That's all we're doing. The down command, the set command, the whistle are all still the same. We're just modifying the mechanic to keep the players safe and ourselves safe. But the other thing is, if players don't know what it is before the game starts, us as officials, when we have that pregame meeting with our face-off guys, that's where we discuss it. I will say we're not the only state who's modifying the face-off in some way. We're not the only ones. So in our pregame meetings with coaches, our pregame game administrator meeting, and our meetings before the game with our face-off players, that's where we will discuss them. The first 10 games of the season that we do, we need to do it every single time. Meet with all the face-off players. Tell them what the mechanic is. Go through it with them of what's going to be required during the face-off. If they even want to practice it, let them practice it with you adjudicating it, whatever. But if away teams come in, the away coach needs to tell them what the modification is, and then we'll do it before the game even starts. Does that make sense, Chris? Does anyone else have anything else for me? Bill, you were talking. Do you have a question? You're muted, bud.
Unmute.
Yeah, there you go.
How about the pregame lineup?
There's no pregame lineup this year. That's one thing I talked about it in my last training last week. We went over the entire the COVID policy. There's no pregame lineup this year at all. Players are just going to go to their starting positions once the game's ready to start. The coin toss and game administrator meeting, which is going to be required this year, where we're going to have whoever the game administrator is for the game. That could be the president of the parent association, could be a principal, could be the athletic director, could be any of those people. We will have the game administrators, both head coaches, and one captain from each team involved in our game administrator meeting. Well, the game administrator will tell the game administrator that they're responsible for any ejections that we accrue during the game. They're responsible for getting that person off the field, not us. We're not going to stop the game for 5 minutes while this person's having a hissy fit. They're responsible for getting them off. They'll also let us know about any additional policies that the school home institution has. We'll certify the coaches both at the exact same time, and we'll have the coin toss with all those people in the exact same location. The referee is going to be the only one that's going to be involved in the coin toss this year, not all the other officials. It's only the referee. The referee will be the only one that'll certify the coaches, and the referee will be the only one that'll talk to that game administrator. Middle of the field before the game starts. Just like how we do a normal certification. That'll all happen at midfield, like 15 minutes before the game starts. We'll get there 20 minutes before the game. At the 15-minute mark, we'll have a game administrators meeting. 10-minute mark, we'll meet with the face-off guys. Everyone knows what's going on. Right when the game starts, we'll all proceed to our starting positions. No pregame lineup. There's not going to be a post-game handshake either. We're not doing
Hey, Gene, you saying only one official present during the game administrators and certifying? Wouldn't it be better to have a second official there as a witness?
Let me get back to my COVID policies PowerPoint. This is
Yeah,
something that
because
has been that has been sent. Yeah, no, I hear you. This is the way it's going to work. Asking for someone else to be there to be a witness to it, you have 5 other people there that are witness to it. The other officials that are going to be off of this pregame meeting are going to be continuing with all their pregame duties. Now, if the association decides to change this, the way the pregame meeting is going to work, the association can change it. That's perfectly fine. This is just the pregame meeting. But before the game starts, that referee is going to talk with the game administrator, both head coaches, and one captain from each team. This is where we're going to do the coach's certification and the coin toss. Now, before the game starts, before we even do this, if all the officials want to meet with the game administrator, I highly encourage it to meet with them. Say, hey, we're going to meet 15 minutes before. We'd like you to be involved in this meeting. That's where you can talk to them and actually get to know what their name is before we actually hold this meeting. But this is what the pregame meeting is going to look like. This is going to be the coaches' certifications and the coin toss all at the exact same time. And again, this is all the coaches in the state have this PowerPoint. They know what it's going to look like. There shouldn't be a big problem with this. Again, like you said, Chris, I know with football, you usually have more than one official involved in this pregame meeting, but also in football, they have 5 to 7 officials and we only have 2 to 3. So if we only have 2 officials on the field, I wouldn't want 2 officials involved in this meeting with head coaches and all this when all the other players are doing with their own thing. There needs to be another official watching everyone else. But this is the pregame meeting. And there is a YouTube video on our YouTube channel that is the entire policy laid out. It's like 15 minutes long. Please go and watch that. If you have questions, you can always ask. If the association deems we need to change this, that's perfectly fine. This is just something that we created as a way to maintain the safety of all officials. And since we're going to have 6 people in a close area together, I guess it's just one of those things. But we can change it if we deem necessary at the after one of our first annual rules meeting. Okay, it's 10:01. If you have questions, you can hang out. I know Chandler said he has a question for me, but if you have questions, you can hang out for a little bit and we can talk a little bit more. I'll stay on the call for a little while. I appreciate you guys participating in this. All of my trainings from here on out will occur on Sundays before the season starts. And then once the season begins, I'm going to hold meetings every other week. That'll be film meetings where people can bring scenarios that happen during the course of the season. And we'll talk about in-game scenarios during the course. But I hope you guys have a great day and be sure to accept this event in Arbiter. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, Gene.
Yeah, man.
Just to let you know,